Wherever you are on our amazing planet, I am Ariel.
That would mean I am Shia.
Welcome to
Wouldn't mean
being
it,
here.
but I am.
Welcome to being here.
Yes.
Today's episode of the Being Here podcast, the theme is automatic rebuttal. And we've noticed that when a person receives a compliment, they don't always receive it. There's usually a bounce back. Like if you tell somebody they are magnificent, there's often in their mind or in your mind, there's that automatic, oh, but they don't know. I haven't done my dishes, or I need to lose weight, or there's something. Today's an opportunity to relax into your magnificence.
I like that.
It'll require listening.
Listening is not thinking about. Listening is hearing what is said without filtering it through what you already know. At least that's our definition. And if you do that, where you allow information to come into you and don't filter it through you're agreeing with or disagreeing with, but just hear it, that is enough to have your life transform. How? It's impossible. I mean, it's impossible for you've lived your life and for many years, and suddenly an instant is enough to have your life transform. Well, yes.
I heard something new.
What?
Last week's show, I don't know if you guys have heard last week's show yet. If not, we had a couple of really great guests on. And the first guest, Cheryl, realized that after living in Hong Kong for almost 17 years, she realized it was time to move on, not knowing quite yet where she wanted to go. But she used a term that I've heard many times. She said it was a no-brainer. And I heard the term no-brainer totally newly. Yes. Yep. Where your brain, your considerations, right, wrong, good, bad, is this a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Will it be difficult? Will it be easy? All of that mental gyration and conversation somehow got swept aside, and the reality was a no-brainer.
It was just obvious.
Real. There's the possibility that your magnificence, your beauty, your capability, they're all no-brainers. And when our brains step in, then we get on a Zoom seminar and we get busy checking out our hair or makeup or our shirt and how we look.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, well, let's get our first.
Oh, let's do that. Holly, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from. Kindly. Yes.
Hello. I am zooming in from Brooklyn, New York.
Welcome, Holly. Welcome to being here.
It's nice to be here. Thanks so much. I don't know if you read to everybody the title and the rebuttal and the idea that it's us saying no to compliments, but I'm also finding my listening is being challenged, or I'm challenged with also criticisms too, or what I perceive as criticisms.
Explain what you mean.
Well, for example, I have, in the last year, I retired, and my schedule has become very laid back.
Okay, gotcha.
And not it's not as defined. And so that lack of definition sometimes comes into conflict with my husband's schedule, where he has quite a defined schedule and when he's doing things, and he likes to do things in a certain way. And so I find we are having moments of conflict, not necessarily in sync with each other. And although I know it said like not listening when there's compliments coming your way, I find that I'm not necessarily listening when there's critiques coming my way.
Well, the first thing that strikes me is you're running it through a system that calls it a critique, criticism.
Yeah.
That's like that is being defended. So you're not actually here. Our definition of listening is hearing what someone says from their point of view without agreeing or disagreeing with it, but just hearing it. And clearly, if you're defended, I'll make it less you. If one is defended, then they won't want to hear something that they think is critical of the way they're being.
Right.
And since most of us are insecure from time to time, at least, we think that if somebody says something, there's got to be something wrong with us that they're saying it about. It can't just be a statement of fact. See, if you just listen, it can't hurt you.
Well, I like your idea of reading. I'm imagine people queued this up and they may or may not have read the description. So I'm going to read it both ways because you brought up an alternative. And from a change modality, in a certain respect, if you got heads, you got tails. What you were describing was tails. So here's heads. Ever notice when someone gives you a compliment, you have an automatic rebuttal that says, okay, but I still need to lose weight, or yes, but put your listening ears on and join the Canes in this lively conversation about how absolutely great you already are. No ifs, ands, or buts. Here's tails. Ever notice when someone gives you a criticism, you have an automatic rebuttal that says, okay, but I retired last year and it's more, my schedule is less fluid. It really is that you've stopped listening to someone else's perspective and in defense of yourself or whatever your mind, that brainer, considers you to be, whether it's a retired person or an attractive person, unattractive, whatever. It has a automatic, like a machine, it comes up with a disagreement for what is being said rather than hearing it.
Yes. And that's the state that I find that I'm in right now in my relationship with Eric. And
didn't you guys just come back from a vacation together?
We did. We were in France, yes.
Right. And if you get upset, isn't it always Eric's fault? Tell the truth.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Because it's always the other one's fault when you're in a relationship. There is no fault. This is a no fault insurance thing. Okay. There's no fault. What if we get upset from time to time? We live in a world that's so upsetting. It's so full of unexpected events that jar our reality, that we wish were different but aren't. And so you're bound to get upset because it happens. But as soon as you realize you're upset, if you don't blame the trigger as the cause. See, a bullet has a case or shell case, and in it there is gunpowder and a primer, and then there's a slug in front. Okay, and what happens is the hammer of the gun hits the primer, hits the shell casing, the primer ignites, which ignites the gunpowder, and out goes the bang, the bullet goes out. Well, if you were to take the powder and the primer out of that bullet, you could pull the trigger forever and it won't go bang. Because there's There's no preloaded explosion or upset waiting to happen. But if you blame the trigger for why you're exploding, why your bullet is going off, then you never get to the cause, the real cause, which is that underlying upset that's waiting to be ignited. So when you say, well, if Eric didn't say that, I wouldn't be upset, you'd be off, because you've got to be upset before the trigger happens. Otherwise, you wouldn't get upset.
Right.
So when you blame his attitude, here's the other thing. If you're not getting enough attention, all you have to do is do something that will get his attention. And then you say, you're blaming me for that. But you know what I mean.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So, not sure which one it is, but it doesn't really matter. Eric doesn't upset you if you're not upset. And if you are upset, he is a perfect person to blame.
Right.
Because he's being himself,
Well, I have a question.
Honey, we were supposed to leave 10 minutes ago. Come on, what are you thinking about? Sound familiar?
Yes.
Interesting that I pulled that.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you say that your structure isn't, and I filled in with more fluid, but it's not, you don't have a defined
Place to go to work
schedule.
anymore.
So I believe it's probably a lot easier for you to get lost in your thoughts. And in that respect, if what Shia represented is something that happens for you guys, that he has a defined schedule and you're finding his defined schedule be somehow encroaching on your independence. I find that interesting. It's as if you have him as an adversary rather than, if you want to get on the 4:05 train to somewhere, you can't go, oh, well, I'm retired. I'm going to get there at 4:15. It doesn't really matter, because that's
the train left
schedule.
at 4:05, you see.
Yeah.
Also, I suspect you have a couple of maybe several, but you have some background. What do you call it when it's assimilated and you haven't really looked at? You have ideas that are
your reality does not include certain possibilities.
So, for example, you have some ideas that are in the background that you haven't looked at about what it means to be retired.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When I'm retired, I can do anything I want. And now I'm going to take all of those classes. I'm going to take that cooking class and the flower arranging class, and I'm going to go out and play, tennis or whatever the thing is. That you have a whole host of activities lined up. For others, maybe when I'm retired, I'm not responsible for anything. I don't have to do anything with my time. Enough of schedule. So that could be playing in the background. And if you haven't looked at it, you'll be actuating what you told yourself back when, even on days when it's not appropriate now.
Yes. I think that's more true.
There's one other thing about it is I know that you like Eric's company. So you may have the freedom to go to Paris for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or hop off to this place or that place. But in your reality, you require Eric to come along, even if it's not necessarily the appropriate move for him and his business. So I suspect it's not a real open-hearted discussion like, hey, I'd like to go to Paris for 2 weeks. Do you want to come with me for all of it, for part of it? Not at all. What works for you and your schedule? There's at least some pressure that he accompany you.
Right. I didn't see that. I didn't see that pressure that I could put on.
Oh, you are so powerful. You can put pressure with a look. You know what?
Or with a little morning intimacy. If I go by myself, you'll be missing this.
Right. True. Very true. Oh. Oh. I knew it would be good to call today. I don't know why, but I just feel good.
Well, that's good. But, you know, when the truth is told and you see it, whatever is going on is over in that moment.
Mhm.
It was over even before you started talking about it. And I'll tell you why. As I know that we are not currently releasing this in video format, although we may go back and re-release a lot of the things on YouTube because we clearly have the videos. You looked clearer and more here and more three-dimensional and crisp than I've seen you in a long time.
Agreed.
What you were describing, the structure is less defined.
That's an old story.
I've been seeing that for a while now. And so you were interested in completing that. And part of it was by being straightforward and honest about this current state of your relationship rather than, oh, we're great. We're so great. Don't you assure us? Which a lot of people do when it falls apart. So you look so good before you even said anything. It's quite exciting, actually.
Nice.
Exactly.
Really nice.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
The other thing, there are plenty of people who are retired who get part-time jobs.
You always work in Walmart.
But you know, it occurs to me, you may not have tried on at least the idea of being a part-time support structure for Eric so that his job is easier. It takes him less time to do so that you two have more time together. It's kind of like, honey, don't you have more time for me? As opposed to what can I take away from you to make it easier? And we can, you know, and then we can go just as an idea.
That's a great idea. I like that. I like that a lot.
You probably
Thank you.
I suspect, you know, while travel is good, there's only so much of it you can do without boring yourself.
Right.
After a while, it really does get boring.
It's like, oh, another nice building, great museum, love the food. But if you don't, I don't know, bring yourself to the party, eventually it gets a little dull.
I like being at the party. Thank you. That's great.
The fiesta. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
It's that time.
The time for what?
Our listener feedback spotlight.
What is that?
Well, I'm so proud of the people who listen to this show. And now we get to hear from one or more of them about what's happening in their lives with transformation by listening to this podcast and
what they've discovered about life, what they've discovered about their lives, that they are experiencing fun in their lives.
And that they want to share it with you.
Yeah.
This is Leah in South Orange, New Jersey. And the Being Here podcast is such an amazing resource. I love how, you know, if my day gets a little bumpy or I find myself complaining or concerned about something, even just tuning in just trues me back up to myself and reminds me of how many possibilities there are. And before I know it, without doing anything, I'm loving my life again.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
for all those in the United States and those who celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. We will not have a Living Made Easy seminar this Saturday. The next one will be Monday evening, and then Saturday, December 2nd. Our next weekend seminar happens in January.
It's New Beginnings. It's a virtual seminar, so it will be done on Zoom, January 6th and 7th.
Just Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to leap into the new year with a whole new beginning, it's going to be really, really lovely.
And you don't have to have a whole new beginning to have a whole new beginning.
Like we said last week, it's just a Augenblick, a blink of the eye.
Blink of the eye.
Just giving everybody a heads up ahead of time that the transformation in the new year at the beginning of the year, that Living Made Easy seminars, both of them at the beginning of the year, are going to be on the Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday, January 2nd. And then, of course, a lot of you folks are coming with us to Costa Rica for 1 or 2 weeks. We're down to the wire now. If you want to come, you need to attend a weekend seminar with us. You can always check into it. And it's really a good time to get those transformation made easy wall calendars as holiday gifts. They're a beautiful month by month visual of the moment that will support you and your family and friends all year long. You can just go to our website, transformationmadeeasy.com. Register for anything, sign up for our newsletter, order your calendars. Everything's there at transformationmadeeasy.com. All right.
All right.
Our next guest.
Yes.
Utah. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi, I'm zooming in from Hademstorf, which is a small village in Germany.
Welcome.
Yes.
Hademstorf.
Hademstorf.
Thank you.
I always try to wrap my mouth around something that is so different for me. It's fun.
Yeah, very well done. Good. I love the topic of the show, this automatic rebuttal, and it sounds very familiar to me. And I'm currently in I'm very happy right now. I'm in a new relationship since not a long time, and it's just also fresh and lovely and exciting, and I'm really enjoying it. But
Is there a but there?
yes and no. I have this automatic thought like, okay, what if he finds out that I'm actually screwed, or yes, he likes me, but what if I don't know, that he doesn't know me completely yet, and yeah.
There's another possibility, Utah. What if you could learn yourself completely by discovering you through his eyes?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. You have a story about you that has been with you so as long as you can remember.
It includes it highlights anything you consider a failure or a downside.
Yes.
And what's his first name?
Ingo.
Ingo.
And Ingo doesn't know that story. So he sees who's there and he finds her very beautiful.
So be like, Yuta, you're so beautiful. You're so easy to be with. And you're like, yeah,
but you don't really know the true me yet. As if the true you is that story you've told yourself over and over with embellishments for years.
Yes, that's true.
True. You know, we don't hold on to the high points of our lives. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
We don't hold on to our successes as a window into who we are. We more hold on to our failures that, oh, I'll just fail with this relationship like I did with all the others.
So for instance, taking it from that type of relationship, you have a relationship as a competitive horseback rider. So you have a relationship with your horse. Mm-hmm. So you go and you do the best you've ever done. and you either get a ribbon or you place higher than you ever had before, it's really a win for you.
Mhm.
Fast forward, you go to the next one, and you're not generally sitting on your horse going, I won last time, I did better than I ever did last time. You're like, oh yeah, I have to make sure that that turn is not too tight because they took X points off. You're rehearsing your downside, and you're actually communicating that to your horse rather than being where you are in that moment.
That's true. Yes.
You're getting ready to do that with a new horse called Ingo. You're riding the horse. About 3 weeks in, I'm going to turn in a little witchy and just be prepared. You're getting him ready for your remembrance of who you were once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you something else. I've seen you in our community for some time. We don't see you every week. Some people come to the Living Made Easies every week, or sometimes the Tuesday evenings for the European community every Tuesday that we do them, which is once a month. I imagine this to be true, that you were happy before Ingo, and now it's intensifying it. I don't think you were unhappy and then Ingo came into your life and suddenly it reversed that. That's more of a...
Your happiness is attractive.
Yeah.
Your unhappiness is repulsive.
Yes. Even for me.
By repulsive, I mean it repels. One attracts, the other repels. And I'm not asking you ever to be happy when you're not. But when you allow yourself to be, in other words, you don't pick on yourself what you think you should have done differently, you become attractive.
Right. And I've been very happy, and we've been dating for a while, and every moment was lovely. And I've had moments where I wished it was different, that we like move forward faster, something like that, and then let go of that. When I wanted to move faster, it didn't work.
Hey, men are usually shy.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to move faster, it's on you.
Yes. Yes. I can confirm that. It was I was the driving force in this.
Of course you were. Women are always the driving force in relationship. They don't like to hear that, because then you can't victimize yourself with the man. But it's been my experience that women are the driving force in relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you flirt.
Yes.
And us big, ugly guys get attractive.
It's so funny when she said, like the times when it's not moving fast enough. I'm so far removed from the dating we did back when. I got a picture of them walking down the sidewalk, and he's not moving slowly, fast enough. Right. And she's wishing they would get to their destination. Like, we're going to the store. Could you move faster? And then she had to like slow down. But what she was talking about was the relationship.
I understand.
And I didn't get that at first. Yeah. So funny. But I actually think both are true. One is just in the minutiae, and one is in the grander scheme of things. It's like relaxing into actually being with him rather than trying to drive it to some destination.
Yes, and that's awesome. Just being with him is so awesome. I so much enjoy that, and we had so many funny moments, and I'm a different person today than I used to be years ago, and it's much easier, and with attending transformational seminars and seeing other possibilities, I get goosebumps. It's so easy, it's so beautiful.
Yes, congratulations. You see, you had a choice. All along the way, Uta, you had a choice. You could either offend yourself with other possibilities and take yourself away, or you could relax into it and see that there are other ways of going about living your life. And you've chosen to allow yourself to be okay, to allow yourself to be kind to you. And that's very attractive.
Yeah, thank you. And it's when I'm kind with myself, I'm kind and nice with other people too. And I don't, it's just very different.
That's the way it works. You see, if you're hard on yourself, you're going to be hard on anybody who happens to even think of liking you.
Yeah.
So any man that would find you attractive when you're not finding yourself attractive, he's got to be foolish.
What's wrong with them?
That's right. What's wrong with them for liking me?
Really is. And you pick on them and then they snap and you're like, see, I knew something was wrong with you.
Right. Right. Thank you so much.
We're happy for you.
Yes, we are.
We'd love to meet Ingo sometime if he has an interest. It would be
I love
fun.
you to meet him too. Yeah. Yeah. Gonna be nice.
Sweet.
He's
Excellent.
just wonderful.
That's
well,
great.
I'm not
We're
surprised.
not surprised.
I mean, he's chosen you. You're wonderful. So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, really. See, we've seen you for a long time. You're seeing you newly now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, this was fun.
Yes.
Did you enjoy this podcast? I enjoyed being part of this podcast. And if you did, I know we say this, but let's listen. If you can, leave a review on your favorite podcast app or send this podcast to a friend who you feel might enjoy it. It helps other people find the possibility of being here. And if you feel to do that, thanks in advance. Next week's podcast.
Romo.
Romo. You've heard of FOMO, likely, fear of missing out.
Romo is relief of missing out.
We'll be back next week. So come on back and
Don't miss being here.
It's funny after Romo.